Good morning and welcome to another FasTrax webinar. This is a weekly event we do every Friday at 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern, where we go over various topics of the FasTrax software. You can see a list of these events if you go to our website, goftx.com, choose the FTX Lifeline tab at the top of the screen, scroll down just a bit and look for that webinar button, choose that, and this page will show you a list of all of our previous webinars where you can choose the view recording to watch at any time, sign up for the newsletter to get notified of upcoming FasTrax webinars as well as other FasTrax news, as well as sign up for upcoming webinars. Today we're going to be going over a hot topic that's been a pretty big deal as of late in detail to the accounting exports. Accounting exports have become a much larger deal here recently, with businesses wanting to keep track of their financials and what goes in and out of FasTrax. So we're going to go to Director here first, and we're going to go over where we need to input accounting codes, because those are going to be required first and foremost to even utilize the accounting exports feature. So we're going to first dive into the maintenance module, and we're going to go over where all the accounting codes go in the maintenance module. So first, in the stores area, each store has to have an accounting code assigned to it. That way you can differentiate what happens at each store. So the account code for your stores is going to go here. That account code is effectively going to be mapped to your store number. So on your export, sales, invoices, any kind of item movement, that's going to be tied to this account code for whatever store that's assigned to. That's the only accounting code that's needed on the store side. Departments has quite a number of accounting codes. For here, the account codes are going to be simply lined up in this one area here. So your sales account code is going to go here. This is going to keep track of all of your sales. So wherever you want your sales to go, that you want to put that account code here. Your cost of goods sold, so the cost of what's sold will go here, right below sales. Your accounts payable code will go right below the cost of goods sold code. Returns will go right below your accounts payable code. Shrink will go right below the returns. So shrink is going to be an example of maybe you have like a cycle count and there is a variance on that. That variance is going to be assigned to that account code. Adjustments, that could be like doing an adjustment or doing a store-to-store transfer. You'd input that accounting code here, and then whenever that movement takes place, it's going to assign that to that accounting code. And then the excise tax. If this department has an excise tax that's applied to it via an invoice, then you can map that particular excise tax to a specific accounting code. The next area will, of course, be your tenders. So every tender has the option to have an accounting code. So if you want to say, for example, 123 is cash, then on that export, anywhere that the account code 123 is used, you know that's going to be mapped to cash. Now, in all of these, you can have the same accounting code used twice. So for example, say for my MasterCard, my Visa, my American Express, I don't really care about the different tenders in that aspect. I just care that it's credit cards. So I could use the same accounting code for all three of those. That could be account code 124, and if those are all account code 124, and I take all of those in a day's worth of sales, then I'm going to see those summed together. I won't see the individual lines for each tender. The next area is going to be your vendors. Now, vendors, this is going to be really tied to your accounts payable. The vendor itself, there's going to be an account number field, and there's an account code. We don't care about the account number. The account number is really going to be the account number for that store and that vendor. The account code is what matters here. whatever number you enter in under this account code, that's going to directly tie to that vendor name, that vendor ID. So whatever you have your vendor set up in your accounting software, you'd want to put that account code here, not under the account number. There's been a bit of confusion on that in the past. So the next area we're going to look at, that covers everything in the maintenance module. The next area we're going to look at is going to be the price book module. Now, this under your item details doesn't technically have to be used, but there's scenarios where you may want to use that. When you look an item up and you go to your additional info, you have some account codes here. Now, by default, these are going to be blank, and you probably most of the time want those to be blank. For example, this item here, this Winston, if I have account codes set to this department, then whenever this item is sold, and any items that are assigned to that department is sold, it's going to tie those items to those account codes assigned to the department. If for whatever reason you need to have an item assigned to a department and it not use the account codes that are assigned to the department, you would input those accounting codes under additional info on the item itself. This would override whatever the department has. It would supersede that. So if you had a special case where you have an item that belongs to certain account codes that it does not share with the department, you would input those here. And you have your sales account code, your inventory code, and your cost of goods sold code. The next area will be buy downs. Under buy downs here, you have the account number. You'd want to put that account code here under this account number field. That's going to allow you to differentiate each buy down to an account number. The next area is an option for a newer account code that hasn't been there previously. That would be under your system discounts, there's an account number field here as well. So on your system discounts, if you need to have the same account code for multiple discounts or different account codes for multiple discounts, you can do so here. Just make sure that you input that account code on the discount itself under that account number field. All right, so that covers the price book module and their accounting codes. The next area we're going to look at is going to be within the point of sale. And there's really only one place in the point of sale where you're going to input account codes. And that's to differentiate the types of pay-ins and payouts. So I'm going to log in to the POS with a user that has permission to edit panels. If you haven't seen the webinar on permissions and editing panels, I'd suggest you watch that. I'm going to go to my action settings here. I'm going to go to my settings and the POS button editor. And the buttons I'm looking for is going to be under my cashier functions panel. So I'm going to choose that. And then I have my pay in and payout buttons here. Now, whenever I choose edit button on one of those, there's an account number here. What you would do is you'd input your account code here. And anytime you do a pay in or payout has that same option, and that is tied to an account code, then it's going to tie that pay in and payout to that account code and map that to whatever the account code is in your accounting export. Now, what that means too is that you can't use the same payout button for different types of pay-ins and payouts if it's mapped to a code. So if you're going to have the different unique payouts with unique account codes and unique pay-ins with different account codes, that means you have to have one of every type. So that can mean if you have 5 different pay-in account codes, you need to have 5 pay-in buttons with an account code assigned to each of those and then label those appropriately. Now, that's the only place you enter in pay-ins and payout codes in the point of sale. That's the only account code option in the point of sale. Now, if you remove that account number, that account code from your pay-in payout, then it's going to pull that into a lump sum of your pay-ins and payouts elsewhere. So we're going to go back to Director, and let's just say in this example, we're going to not put in a pay-in or payout account code. Whenever I go to my Reports module, and I go to my Accounting Exports, I'm going to jump to my TCS format here, and I'm going to go to my Manage Account Codes. There's going to be a pay-in and a payout account code here. So in those pay-in and payout buttons that I have, if I don't put in an account code, then let's say that I have these account codes in my other pay-in and other payout account codes. Those are all going to be summed together and go into that one singular account number. All right, so that covers the pay-in and payouts. We're going to go over all of these here. So your sales tax code, that's of course going to be your accounting code for your sales taxes. If you don't input your buy-down account numbers, then you can group those all together under your one buy-down account code. Same with your excise taxes. If you don't have that assigned to a department, those can all be lump summed together into one singular excise tax account code. For your safe, for your reconciliation, you can have an account code to keep track of what's in the safe. We've already touched on our pay-ins and payouts. You have your transfers account code, so any kind of transfers. Your payables account code for any type of payables. Manual discounts, that's going to be discounts that are not system discounts. So if the cashier utilizes like a percentage off button or a dollar amount off an item button, those would be mapped to this particular account code. If you have any kind of prepaid sales tax accounting code, you'd input that here. Any kind of invoice miscellaneous fee, that would be the other text box on invoices other than the surcharge amount. That's a newer feature as well. If you're utilizing fuel, your open fuel server sales and open fuel server tender, for like your outside sales. Then you have your reconciliation account codes. On your cash, if there is a variance, input that variance accounting code here. And these all here are all going to be based on variances. So in your daily reconciliation, if there's a variance on cash, credit, manufacturer coupons, pay and payouts, each of those tenders is going to have an option here to allow you to input that accounting code. We can see the store coupon, loyalty, gift card, pay and payouts, change bank, ATMs, loyalty, all those are going to have their pay and payout accounting codes. Now to the right, you're going to have an offset code. So these particular items that need to have an offset code, you would input that offset code in this far right column. If they don't have an offset code, that means that the system's automatically going to handle that based on what was input like during a sale. Simply put, like for example, you have let's just say a carton of Marlboros that are sold. You have tenders being taken in and inventory being taken out. So you don't need an offset code for that because their respectable accounting codes handle that. So that covers all the accounting codes for our TCS export. The next option would be the QuickBooks export. That's going to have manually input accounting codes that are put here rather than, or in addition to other places in the system. You have your tax field value name. Each tax rate, there are up to a total of 8 tax rates in the system. You can have a unique accounting code for each of those tax rates. You have your accounts payable name, what you want that name to be in the actual export file, that QIF file, your invoice account name. Then you have your actual codes, your pay-ins, your offset for your pay-ins, your payouts, your offset for your payouts. You have your loyalty and mobile coupon accounting code, a freight account code for like surcharges, and then your buy downs. Now, this is obviously a QuickBooks format. There's also the option to use the TCS format. There's a checkbox here that's been recently added for QB for QuickBooks. This allows you to export essentially more data, more details, more movement that occurs during the accounting export process in the QuickBooks format. For example, like the QuickBooks format here, there's not a way to map your discounts or system discounts or excise taxes. things of that nature. That's not included in this standard QuickBooks format. However, if you use the TCS format and choose that QuickBooks format, it will indeed then include all of these account codes that weren't previously there in the QuickBooks format. We basically added this option under the TCS format just so if you want to utilize the less detailed QuickBooks format, you can continue doing so. And then if you want to do the more detailed QuickBooks format, you can choose that option here. Now, Great Plains format, there's no manual accounting codes here. It's going to utilize what's input in the system so that you don't have to manually edit anything here. Same with the Business Works. There's no manual account codes to input here. It's going to use what you put elsewhere. And then same with the Original Master format. All right, so that covers everything on the accounting codes and where to map those and how to map those. I hope everybody learned something new today. Once again, if you go to our website, goftx.com, choose the FTX Lifeline button, and then following that, choose the webinar button. That will carry you to our webinar page, which allows you to view upcoming webinars, view previously recorded webinars, and sign up for the newsletter to be notified of upcoming webinars and other FasTrax news. If you have any questions on the topic, let us know at websupport@fasttraxpos.com. And if you have any suggestions for future webinar topics, let us know at info@goftx.com. Thank you and have a great weekend.